Well, it's this epic disaster.
Indeed. Indeed it is.
Again,
Another
week.
This is us. We're here.
Epic disaster. Okay, so I'm going to avoid popping a lozenge in my mouth. I still have the cough. You remember last week it was starting to come up. I could feel it. It didn't really reach very high moments. I mean, it got to a point like it's more like a chest cold. And it just kind of lingered, and then it's just been there for a week, just hanging around, not getting worse, but it's just this weird sensation, this scratchy throat, and some irritating cough and all that kind of stuff. But it's not getting worse, and I feel like maybe it's going to get better, and it's not going to get any worse than this, which I'm hoping that's true.
It could just be allergies.
I thought that, but it's very different from allergies, and I think I think I picked it up from my wife. I think it's a bacterial thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, so when I talk and stuff, I get really, my throat gets dry and I start coughing.
Sure.
So I don't want to have a coughing fit in the middle of the show.
No, because we'll have to bleep it out.
It might be one of the best things we've ever done on the show.
True.
But we don't want to do that. So I've got my lozenges here, but I don't want to do them first because we always do live beer review
This
first.
is true.
I don't want my beer to taste like Hall's.
No.
Hall's
Ew.
Brewing Company.
Mentholyptus beer.
Ooh.
Okay.
Mentholyptus porter.
So I am opening a porter that your wife
Yes.
brought back from Minnesota.
From Minnesota. These are beers we don't have access to because we're not cool Minnesotans.
That's correct.
And there's even a picture of the state of Minnesota down there on the bottom.
So I am just pouring myself a little bit, as I do, because I'm not drinking beer right now, but I want to taste it, and I want to have enough to have a couple of drinks.
Yeah,
so I can taste it.
This is a big can, so there may be some left over.
That's fine.
I'm going to put, there's about that much left, so you can have that.
Fill yours. Go ahead, fill yours. It's fine. I'll have, whatever's left.
This is a very dark, it's a porter, but it's a very dark coffee-colored beer.
Yes, it is.
But we should tell people about the beer.
I'm going to.
The name and where it comes from and all of that stuff.
This is called De Lovely Porter.
Oh.
That's DE-Lovely Porter. It is brewed by Urban Growler Brewing Company, which I think is pretty freaking amazing. It is the first female-owned microbrewery in Minnesota.
And maybe the world. We don't hear that much about female-owned microbreweries.
I mean, you really don't.
It's just that beer, I think, traditionally kind of has like a dude
vibe.
Yeah. You always when you think about people sitting around watching football and drinking beer or doing anything and drinking beer, it's almost always a dude.
I mean,
and
that's changing.
I know. I see so many. Well, if you go to a restaurant, I see so many women drinking beer. So why shouldn't women make it, huh?
I don't know why they shouldn't. I think they should. It says about this beer in particular, it is a smooth melody of dark malty deliciousness, notes of caramel and chocolate, perfect for year-round enjoyment. It does not state, as you have mentioned in the past, it does not have to, the alcohol content.
But we like it when it does, just so we
know what to expect.
But it's a porter. Porters usually have a little. They usually register a little high, don't they?
A little bit, yeah.
Is that a myth? Is that a myth?
I don't think so. The porters we drink.
A myth. A myth or a myth. That was really good.
Don't guess their gender. Okay, so Urban Growler Brewing Company was opened in July 2014
Did you say Beering Company?
Brewing Company.
I think this should be called Beering Companies.
I think it should.
That's a whole new name that I like.
So it was opened in July 2014 by master brewer Deb Locke and co-head honcho Jill Pavlak.
Deb and Jill.
Yeah, these two
making
combined
the beer.
Their complementary skills and passions to create great beer, food, and space for everyone. So this microbrewery is actually like a microbrewery / grill, it looks like, called Urban Growler.
Here's what I like. So, they're just doing their thing. Minnesota, doing their thing, turning on all the Minnesotans who are just loving the beer, doing their thing. And then my wife has a family event, goes home.
Right.
Does her little family thing.
Sure.
And then on the way, she's like, I better pick up some beers so that they could do some reviews. And she picks them. So now we get this beer.
That no one else up here gets.
Just because
down here.
Just because of that event. So
right.
now we can review this beer. And now the pressure's on, because what if we hate it?
Then we hate it.
I don't think
we're entitled to our opinions.
We won't hate it. Surely we won't. Well, I'm going to taste some of it here. I do like the porters. I'm a porter fan.
I am as well. So you taste
Porter
first.
Wagner. That's an opportunity missed.
Porter Wagner.
If he'd had his own beer. Porter Wagner.
I think somebody
porter.
should brew a porter and call it Porter Wagner.
Porter.
Yes, that would be awesome.
All right. The aroma is not as deep and what's the word?
Earthy, smoky, what?
Smelly.
Okay.
That's usually not a word you want to use in reviews.
This is a non-smelly beer.
You know what I'm trying to say.
Sort of.
All
I
right.
mean, not really. Go for it. You drink.
I'm going to try it.
I'm
trying
still
it
looking
here.
at their website, which is kind of cool. They have seasonals too.
Oh,
Check that
you're going to
out.
like it.
I am? Okay.
You're going to like it.
So I'll just let you know right now that, let me see. I'm going to look this up. Okay,
I'm going to
taste
say something. I'm just going to say a word
Do it.
about this beer. I'm just
Okay.
going to say one word.
Please.
Should I do it before you drink or after?
After, because I want to taste it.
Okay, go ahead. And then I'm going to say one word. Yeah? Okay. Here's the word. Coffee. That's what I'm saying about the beer.
Big time. Nummy coffee. Nummy
Oh, okay.
coffee. Hold on. I want to look at something because I'll know something you won't know in about 2 seconds.
You know a lot of what I don't know. You don't even have to wait on it.
This is a 5.6 alcohol by volume.
5.6.
So it's your pretty average beer.
Oh, come on, man.
It doesn't look like they do a whole lot of like high octane. I see they have
Now,
Okay,
I don't.
sorry. I'm not going to go into it.
You're orgasming. I don't know what alcohol. Now I know what alcohol affects, but I don't know how. And what is the choice? I mean, somewhere somebody sat and said, "Well, should we make this 5.6 or should we make it?"
No,
8?
that's not at all what they did. They made a beer using ingredients, and then they let it ferment, and they let it brew, and all that good stuff, and then it comes out at the alcohol volume that it comes out as. They don't decide.
And they have no control over that.
No.
Well, how come some porters or whatever are going to say 8, and some say it's the same thing,
It's
right?
the ingredients that you use.
But this tastes like others that we've had that have had higher alcohol content. I just wonder, is there any way to control it? Can they say, "Oh, let's dial back the alcohol on this one" or something?
No. I mean, you can't just say, let's put less alcohol in it.
No, but you could do like caffeine coffee. You could say there's some that are like strongly caffeinated and some
Based
that's
on
not.
what
But
you're
that's
using-
an additive, I guess. I don't know.
Based on what you're using in your mash and in your ingredients in the beer, that's what will determine and how you brew it will eventually determine the alcohol by volume percentage. As far as I understand, it's not like they add or remove alcohol.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Well, as you know, I think you read Deb is a master brewer.
Yes,
I'm a dumb-master brewer.
this is true.
I'm a dumb-master brewer because I don't know anything about it.
And the
at
people
all.
listening to us right now are disaster baiters.
Yeah, we're like the worst people to review beer because all we know is we like it
Or we don't.
like it. We don't know the process, and honestly, that's the kind of beer people I want to listen to because when people start talking about notes and fruits and I don't know what they're talking about. It's
So
just like,
here's-
is it good or is it bad? If it's good, why is it good? If it's bad, why is it bad?
So here's what I think. Because I had to take art appreciation in school, which I'm sure you did too.
Do you have any beer appreciation?
I wish they had.
Bet
They
you
might
got it. There are
do.
colleges, they do now.
Oh yeah. But that was like day one. I don't want to ever hear I like it or I don't like it.
Yeah.
I want you to describe it to me.
Sure.
And so that's where we're at even now, just in our daily lives. I like that. I don't like that. Okay, why?
Yeah.
Explain it to me. And I want to be able to explain it. Now, we can explain it in our own words, and sometimes that makes sense. But to other people that might know beer a lot better than we do, it might not make sense to them. Or they might be able to figure it out.
Yeah.
Either way, what I think, I would like to reach out to breweries across the nation
Across this great land of
and
ours.
beg you from the bottom of our hearts, please invite us. Please invite us for a tasting and a lesson on how to taste.
But if
And
somebody,
then-
if a brewery in California does that, we can't go out there.
Not unless they pay for it, and they probably won't. But if they wanted to be that generous, by all means, please do. And while we're there, we will interview you. We will interview you. You will be on the podcast. Your beer will get so much coverage
Yeah.
for free, other than paying for our stay.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, Atlanta's a land of lots of microbreweries, and there are a lot of breweries here in town. So
This is true.
We have been talking about getting a brewery, a person, a master brewer.
Yes.
To combat my dumb master brewer.
Yes.
To be on the show and talk about beers. And so we need to have, and they can maybe they can bring a little flight.
Or we can go there and record.
We can do that.
And they can give us all the things they want to give us to taste.
We want to do it with some whiskey and stuff too.
Absolutely.
But yeah, and especially if you're local to Atlanta. But the thing is, no one listens to the podcast. So even if we're saying this, it's not gonna. No one's gonna hear it because they don't listen. No one listens to the podcast.
You just fucked it up for both of us. Let me tell you why. You just said nobody listens to the podcast.
They don't. No one
which
listens.
means nobody is now going to pay for us to go and do that because they're not going to get any advertisement from it. What the hell?
What I meant was no one just listens to it. I mean, they live it. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not just a listening experience. It's an entire life experience.
You didn't follow what I was doing there.
No, I followed it quite well. I know. I'm just saying. We got to reach out. Now, having said that, and I know we've teased this and we've said it so many times and it just didn't happen yet, but we are still trying to line up some guests. I don't know why it's so hard to get guests on shows.
Because people don't like us.
It's not personal. I think a lot of times people say, sure, I'll do it, and then they forget or we don't bug them enough or something.
I don't like to bug people except you.
I know. But we have 2 potential guests, maybe for this month.
Really?
And,
this month is...
it's got 3
we're
more
a weekend.
weeks.
Yeah.
Don't say that because I got a big job at the end of this month that I'm not ready for. So
okay,
don't scare me. So, but yeah, I mean, and I think for the rest of this year, we really need to pack in some guests. We need, because it's interesting. No, I think people are tired of our crap. They've heard it enough.
Well,
please get some other people to talk. I can't listen to those people anymore.
So the people that keep listening, you think they're just keep listening, praying that maybe we'll have someone else on?
I think
is that what it is?
Yeah, I think it's something like they're using it as like a theft deterrent or birth control, something like that. I don't think they're actually listening to it. I think they just play it. Like when you're trying to overthrow a dictator, the government plays it on a really loud speaker and blasts it into, like they did in Noriega years ago.
No, it's like psychological torture.
That's exactly what it is.
Oh, okay. They use this shit in Guantanamo Bay.
It's used for secret government things that we don't even know about.
Maybe they'll invite us.
And torturous kind of things. And people who are into really kinky torture stuff use it, but we don't want to talk about that.
We'll interview them.
No, and I do think that it's used in certain foreign languages. I don't know why.
To learn how to speak English?
Or
how to not speak English?
I really
This is how you don't. This is how not to do it right here. Just listen.
All right, so what we usually do at this time when we've poured our beer, we're feeling good, drinking the beer.
Sure.
I think it's time
enjoying the beer
to open up our good friend Zabmondo. Zabmondo is a new thing we started doing that. Man, I really enjoy it. So now this is a game.
Fun. It's a game.
But we don't play the game.
No, we just we have some cards here. It's their cards are similar to Trivial Pursuit where they have categories and we have these little
color stones.
Color stones. So we just basically drop a stone.
Hey, wait a minute.
And whatever stone we drop, that color is the question that we ask. And the questions on these cards are very much, there's no right, there's no wrong answer. They are would you rather questions. So they do tend to start conversations between us, as they did last week, where we went pretty much the entire podcast just based on the questions that we played.
I think it's funny how when I put these stones in my hands and shake them up like it's really going to affect it in a big way. It's just like
it's not.
There are 5 stones in there, and I got to shake them up really, really good.
You have a 1 in 5 chance of getting a color.
If I picked them up in my hand and just turned them around, then dropped one, it would be the same.
Yeah, but it feels like you're rolling the dice.
It feels like I'm really okay. I'm predicting yellow.
You got purple.
It's the same thing I did last week.
Okay, so on the card, the purple category stands for food/ingestion.
That's right.
And all of these questions start with
Would you rather?
Would you rather? So here's your question.
Let's have that question.
Would you rather?
Would I rather
eat 6 entire lemons in one sitting, or 20 jalapeno peppers in one sitting?
Lemons, easy. I've probably done that too. I can do the lemons easy.
Yeah.
I like lemons. I'm not on the jalapeno peppers. Now, if the peppers were cooked in something and they were soft, I might be able to do it.
Okay.
But fresh, I don't think so.
Oh man, I went to a friend's house last week, or over the holiday weekend on a Sunday. This last holiday, which was Memorial Day. And we had some jalapeno poppers, like fresh jalapenos filled with cream cheese.
Man, I love those.
But not deep fried, just
then
grilled.
I don't love those.
No, they were so good. They were wrapped in bacon. I took the bacon off because I'm not a bacon eater.
The juice
but I
is
went
still
ahead.
in there.
I don't care.
You had hog juice in your mouth.
That's not the first time.
Wait a minute.
Okay, so...
so wrong.
I know.
We have guests from Minnesota listening to the show. talking about hog juice in your mouth. All right.
Well, it's a personal preference. So I took, the bacon off, and I went ahead and just ate it. I was hungry. There wasn't a lot of veggies. What are you going to do? So I ate the jalapeno popper with the really good, like, high-end cream cheese, and they were fresh jalapeno, and it was so good. And everybody else was like, this is spicy. No, it wasn't spicy. It was good. So I like the spice.
I got really addicted to that when I was where my workshop is in Chattanooga. Mm-hmm. There's a gas station, like a little convenience store gas station down the road. Man, they had the best jalapeno poppers. And I got so addicted, I would go in there and I would order like 8 of them and go back and eat. I would just one after another.
How'd your stomach feel?
Oh, it loved it.
No, I don't.
It grew. It grew bigger and bigger.
I guess I was asking more about your bowels.
I know.
Okay.
They weren't that spicy, really.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they weren't spicy, but they were good.
So it's my turn to be asked.
It's your turn
question.
for the Zabmando.
So I'm going to go ahead and drop a stone.
Mine was easy.
I don't know why I just suddenly think that's hilarious.
It does sound fair. It's like, I got to go drop a stone.
I'm going to drop a stone.
You're like, really? You're going to play Zabmando?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I got a green one.
You got a green one. We haven't had green on the show in quite a while.
Yeah.
And I don't have my glasses. Holy crap.
You always end up needing glasses.
Well, I can't read. Used to, I could almost read. Now I can't read anything.
You used to have 2 or 3 pair of glasses hanging around your neck all the time.
I have them all, but they're all in the one location, which does a lot of good. All right.
Start with the would you rather.
Would you rather, as a man, have to tell your wife that you cheated on her once while you were dating, or have to tell your wife that her wedding ring is fake?
Quite honestly, I would rather tell my wife that her wedding ring was fake. Because if I married somebody, they wouldn't be so materialistic that it mattered.
Well, I think the idea is that she believes that it's real. I mean, if she thinks that there's a possibility that it's fake, then it's not cool. But she believes that it's real, and then you got to tell her that you went the cheap way and you got a cheap fake ring.
I'd still rather tell her that her ring was fake, having never told her explicitly that her ring was real, mind you, because I wouldn't do that. That's called a lie. I would rather do that than tell her that I cheated on her while we were dating. Yeah. I think most people, having been married for whatever length of time, know that even if you did have sex with someone else while you were dating your partner, and it hasn't happened since then, and especially hasn't happened since you agreed to be completely exclusive, they'd probably just get over that pretty quickly too. And the ring thing, they'd probably get over that pretty quickly too. However, they'd probably ask you to go ahead and buy them a real one.
Well, okay, so too, when you got to look at the flavors of this, the cheating happened while you were just dating.
Right.
And it doesn't say what level of commitment.
That's true.
But you're just dating. The ring happens when you're getting married, the commitment. So the lie is more...
But I never actually said, this is real. I want you to know this is a real ring.
Well, we don't know that, but okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Like in my situation, when I got married, my wife actually said, I don't want a diamond. And I was like, really? And she was like, no, I don't. I want... And there was like some kind of fake diamond jewelry thing that's really good that I don't know anything about. And she wanted that. And I was like, okay.
I remember looking for rings with your wife.
And there was reasons why they're personal and stuff. And it's just like, okay, but she just wanted to do that. And I'm in my head, I'm like, yes.
No,
I don't have to pay for all of that.
No, you were not.
But, I would have gotten her what she wanted, but she just wanted that, which is okay.
All right.
Take it.
And what you wanted, you got what you wanted too.
I got what I wanted, and we're happy.
You had a specific ring in mind?
I think I might have been okay with not having a ring.
Mm-hmm, but she preferred you wear one?
I don't think she cares.
Oh, okay.
But I think, I do feel like that there's a certain, like she won't wear her ring because she does more now. When she first started, she had an allergy to it.
Oh, goodness.
So it would like... She would have the ring on, and then when she would take it off, there would be like blisters around her fingers.
My word.
I can't remember if it's titanium. I don't remember what the metal is that she's got that she's allergic to.
It's probably nickel.
No, it's not that cheap.
No. The nickel is in silver.
Oh.
So
I don't know. I don't think it's
nickel is in white gold.
Yeah, I don't remember what it is. But anyway, she doesn't seem to have that problem quite as much now.
Okay.
But so she wouldn't wear it a lot. She was losing it a lot. But I wear mine all the time. I like the way it looks, so I wear it all the time. But
Gotcha.
I think just because my hands are usually around paint and stuff, I just kind of rather not.
Okay, so speaking of dating and speaking of marriage, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. You got married?
No.
Oh.
No, I probably never will.
No.
As told by somebody that I was talking to.
What?
Yeah.
You were told you're never going to get married.
No, I mean, not in those words. Okay, so
By
we
like a palm reader?
No,
That would be embarrassing.
No, it was a friend.
A former friend?
No, she's still a friend. It was a female friend. And we were chatting over IM.
Okay.
And I said something to her. We were talking about my apartment.
Okay.
And she's seen my apartment.
Yes.
And she had mentioned that it is rather spacious, but that she's never gotten the impression that it's large enough for two people, unless those two people like want to be kind of on top of each other. And not in a sexual way, just, in each other's space.
Okay.
So
And you said...
And I said, well, I think it's ideal for two people. I like small spaces. I like being around my partner.
Yeah.
Et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I don't mind a larger space, and if my partner had issues, we could move. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was going to say, it's bigger than both of the apartments we lived in.
You're right. You and I lived in smaller apartments than
Much
what I live in
smaller.
now.
Right.
Right.
So
And
two people were fine. The first apartment we lived in was actually totally fine.
Yes, but the second one
was a closet.
was half the size of what I live in alone
Yeah,
right now.
right.
And I have a garage.
Yeah.
And we didn't there. But what's funny is that you mentioned that you and I lived in apartments together because her next statement after I said, it'll probably never happen for me, because that was my next answer to her was, I'll probably live there alone forever because the way it's going, I was being all,
Right.
the way it's going, I'll never have anybody. And she came back with, well, I think part of the problem is your ex is your best friend. She said, I would never stand for that.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wow. I mean, honest, yes, thank you. Blunt, ooh, a little bit, but okay. I appreciate that too. And then I thought about it and I'm like, I don't want to be with someone who can't handle my friendship with you, because you and I have been separate longer than we were together.
Yeah, and when we first moved to Atlanta, we spent a lot of time together, and now we don't. I see you once a week to do the show.
Sometimes
That's
twice
about
a
it.
week, and sometimes only once every 2 weeks.
if there's-
On average, once a week.
Yeah, if
Yes.
there's an event, sometimes we'll do an event, we'll schedule an event, we'll go. But we don't hang out.
No.
I think when you first moved here, we hung out a lot. I mean, we saw each other like
Because I didn't know
3 times a
anybody.
week. Right.
You didn't know anybody. We were trying to figure the city out together. We weren't together at the time. You were married or getting married.
Yeah. Well, we've
so-
had this conversation before, because I have said that to you before, and you were like, "No, it's not going to happen." But I don't know. It takes someone who's really, really confident and mature to be able to put up with that. I'm not sure I could. I don't know how my wife does it.
See,
I mean, you and my wife are friends. If I died
we would
tomorrow,
remain friends.
you would still be friends and do stuff.
Yes.
You guys do stuff together without me.
Yes.
Now, that sort of took a while.
That evolved.
But she's learned. She likes you,
I
and
like
you like
her.
her, and so
Her mom likes me.
you could do things with her.
Yeah.
I like her. She was best friends with her ex. Now they don't hang out, but she said several times, "What if we've hung out together?" And honestly, I just think I'm like, I don't know how I would handle that. Like, I would go to a restaurant with this person, and that's fine. Like, you and I have jokes that we do.
Sure.
We cut each other. We say stuff. We clown around all the time, but it isn't in any way like flirty or sexual or anything like that.
No. Been there,
Thank
done that.
God. But I just don't know. I think about it a lot. I'm just like, I don't know that I can handle this same relationship from my wife. I don't know that I would be able to do that. Isn't that weird?
It's kind of double standard.
It is.
But let me also say that
But it's
I don't
honest.
think oh no, I love the honesty. I appreciate the honesty. All around, I appreciate the honesty. What what I also want to state is that I don't think you ever expected this level of acceptance from your wife.
No, not at all.
No.
Well, okay. So before her, I came from a relationship that was ultra jealous.
Yes.
So I would not even be able to talk to you.
Right.
In that relationship.
Right.
So when I connected with my wife and I saw what I thought were signs that she was going to exhibit some jealousy, and I kind of was like, no, I'm not going to do that again.
Yeah,
I've already been there. I'm not going to do it. And she was like, no, that's not it. And so it took me a while to kind of get some trust there. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't because of you. It was just from some other things. I mean, it's just like, she didn't know me.
Right.
And I would say 75% of my Facebook friends are female. I have a lot of female friends, but I also have a lot of male friends that just aren't my friends on Facebook.
Right.
So it looks like I have a lot of women friends.
Right.
But these are just people that some of them I haven't seen in 20 and 30 years.
Since high school.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but they're just on my Facebook. So I don't think she didn't know that much about me. So she looked at my Facebook and she was like, wow, that's a lot of women. And I communicate. So I just felt like she was kind of exhibiting jealousy tendencies. Well, now it's the exact opposite. She doesn't have that at all. And she doesn't need to. I mean, I'm sorry, but I would drop you over her any time.
I know.
But I don't have to.
Right.
And that's the good thing is I don't have to make that choice. If she ever came to me and said, you've got to make a choice, that would be like really bad.
It would suck.
Well, not only that, but I think to me, if she said that, there would be a problem there.
Right.
And so we would have to take care of that problem. And I feel like that in the end, if she had those kind of trust issues, that's a comment on something besides you and besides our relationship. But nonetheless, I just don't think that normal people can have that level of acceptance. It does exist, and I think it exists more frequent in younger people than it does in people our age.
I think so, too. My comment to my friend who made the statement that she wouldn't put up with it and that she thinks that's part of the reason why I'm single, like just consistently
well, you haven't tried to
single.
date that much.
I really haven't. I'm an introvert. I don't like to put myself out there.
And how many of the people you have dated have said, that dude, you got to get rid of him?
No one.
No, so it's not really been an issue yet.
So I pick good people. I just don't pick good people to fit with me as romantically, I guess. But
I'll tell you your problem here in a minute, but go ahead.
All right. Well, let me continue with this problem first because I have a lot.
Yeah.
So what I would say ultimately is that I told her straight up. I said, look, the friendship's not going to go away. So I have to find one of those special people. And that's where I'm at. But even if our friendship were to go away for whatever reason, I would still want to find a special person that wouldn't be threatened by my relationship with you, because my relationship with you, our romantic relationship, has been long over.
Well, it's like I told my wife, I was like, if I was single right now and you were single right now, we wouldn't be dating.
Right.
We wouldn't date. We already did that.
Yeah.
So it would be exactly like it is right now, except I wouldn't be married and you wouldn't be married. We would be doing a podcast.
Yep.
We'd go hang out every once in a while, but that's it. We would do what we do.
We're just friends now. And we worked to create that friendship after our relationship ended. I was a bit of a pest, but not so much that you just were like, leave me the fuck alone. But yeah, I mean, we worked to make it something new and different because we like each other as people. And that's the friendship that we have now. And I think that, I mean, going forward for me, I don't introduce you as my ex. I don't introduce you as my, former boyfriend. I introduce you as my best friend.
We started this podcast, episode 1, talking about our relationship. But our former podcast that we did, we never talked about it, and probably went almost a year before we even brought it up because people started asking.
Right. They were like, how do you guys know each other?
And we were like, well, when we started the podcast, we were together, and now we're not.
Right.
But, we're friends now.
Right.
So we covered all of that kind of stuff. But here's what I think, too. When I hear that, and I don't know your friend, so this is not a comment on your friend. This is just generally. When I hear that, it's almost always from somebody that is saying, essentially, I wouldn't trust myself in that type of relationship.
Exactly.
So they're really commenting on themselves.
Yes, they are.
Rather than you,
Yes.
which is okay. But it's
Because
just
people
like,
do that all the time.
when you're with someone, and I saw this in my past relationship, I discovered the person who just totally didn't trust me on a lot of stuff. I discovered when it was all over, I shouldn't have trusted that person.
Exactly.
Because they crossed so many boundaries that I didn't know that they were crossing and that they shouldn't have crossed while they were accusing me of doing the same thing, which I didn't.
And that's
never
almost cliche.
Yeah.
When someone accuses you of cheating when you've done nothing to be accused of, it's because they've been cheating. And that's not always the rule. It's not always the case, but oftentimes it is. Oftentimes when somebody says, well, you're doing this and you're doing that, it's because they are. And they're projecting and they're commenting on themselves.
Well, I've always been afraid that if you did get into a serious relationship, that in the end that the person would say, like, I don't want you hanging out as much with him. And the reality is you wouldn't, because you'd rather hang out with the person you're with.
Right.
You automatically want to. But there would still be times we would do this, and that's totally fine as long as we can work this in. It works. But what if in the future we start doing live shows or going on the road and doing a show or something like that? There's just some kind of areas where it could kind of be weird.
I see, and I disagree, because
If you're in a
I know
relationship,
me and I know you,
Yeah.
and I know that what me and you would do together if we were off doing something together. Like, we're going to go to Carolina Rent Fair this year. Maria is going to come if she can.
Yeah.
But at this point, I mean, what would be the weirdness if we drove up there, went to the Ren Fair, stayed overnight in a hotel, and came back? No one would suspect anything from us because we wouldn't do anything. And everybody that knows us currently knows that.
Well, I always, and you know this, but especially when we were first together, is I always made a point. If I was just going to go to lunch with you or have coffee to talk about a show or just whatever, I always would tell my wife, I'm going to go doing something with Cheri. I'm going to do this.
Yes.
I didn't ever want there to be anything where she's like, oh, you had lunch with her? I didn't want her to think that there was ever a situation where we were
Hiding
doing things in
something.
secret or playing around or whatever. And so I feel like that's important. And maybe that's what caused the trust to build over time, that she realized that, it's like I value our relationship, but it's on a totally different level. And I
Right.
don't mean this in an insulting way, but you could be a dude. I mean, we have that type of relationship.
Yes.
Strictly platonic.
Yes.
Almost like siblings, but it's just like we had 4 years where we were intimate. And even then, it wasn't always intimate. We were best friends, but we hung out and did stuff for 4 years, and we just got to know each other and be stronger friends. A lot of that stuff is over. Friendship still survives. Okay, fine, cool.
And has gotten better,
Yeah, I mean,
in my opinion.
You came to my wedding. I would
Yes.
come to your wedding.
Absolutely.
I will come to your funeral.
Okay, great. Because I'm going to die before you.
I don't know about that.
Anyways, I think that you actually cultivated that trust in your wife, and I think you
Yeah.
used that opportunity to cultivate your wife's trust using our friendship, which will eventually down the road, or in any relationship you might have with any other acquaintance or friend, that same trust will be there.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to cultivate that trust with your new partner, bringing in your existing friends and acquaintances, and showing them that you can trust me with these people. So when someone new does come into my life, be them male or female, you can trust me with them too.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty great.
But it's a level of maturity that takes a while to get to. And when we've already got this established. This is going on. And then you meet someone who has no idea, and they're suspicious from the beginning because they don't know what's going on.
Right.
They don't know if you're just saying that and then we're doing stuff on the weekends. They don't know.
That's
So you have to go.
That would be my time to cultivate that trust with
And-
my partner.
And it's just like starting from the beginning, and it feels weird because you're convincing them something that's been well established for a long time.
Right.
But it's just part of the relationship. You have to do it, and eventually they get to that point. Part of it, I guess, is just them. Like my wife has got to know you. If she never got to meet you or never hung out with you,
that
I
would be
bet
so
there'd be
weird.
some problems. But
Yeah.
because you all hang out and do stuff,
Yeah.
there's just not a lot of problems with it.
Yeah.
So it's the same way. If my wife's ex, who is her friend now, he seems like a cool dude. And I mean, but if my wife did a podcast with him and hung out with him as much as we do and stuff, it would take some work from me, I have to say. But again, I haven't met him I've met him like once, maybe twice. So yeah, I guess getting to know the person more and
so
realizing,
knowing the work it would take from you to be comfortable with that will help you, and I'm sure does help you appreciate the work that she put into it that much more.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
And just says something about her. It pays to be in a relationship with a mature person.
This is true.
I've learned that after a full life of
words of
not.
wisdom.
Yes.
So,
and of
cool.
course, it goes with me. I'm definitely not as mature as her, and not as mature as some of the people I've been in a relationship with. So there you go.
That's true too. So on another note, in regards to dating, I have a couple. They're my neighbors. They're friends of mine.
You have them like in the basement?
No, well, those people. That's not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the neighbors down the street.
Oh, you have them. Okay.
Yes. Have them as acquaintances / friends.
Okay.
I consider them friends.
All right.
So, being the third wheel on occasion can be very uncomfortable.
Sure.
And you can't really determine where you fit into the friendship or even the event that you're going to together.
You're watching a movie. They're on the couch naked. You're like, maybe I should go now.
Yeah, now would be a good time for me to just.
Sorry, bye. I'm just going to let myself.
Didn't mean to overstay my welcome.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, I think they both trust me just fine.
Sure.
I absolutely trust the two of them to be who they are. I, like you said earlier, you get along with women better. In a general rule.
Possibly.
I get along with men.
Okay.
Way better than I get along with women.
Okay.
And that has been my life experience. Since I was a kid, my little kid friends.
Who did you have a
were
stronger
guys.
relationship with, your dad or your mom?
My dad,
Well,
absolutely.
there you go. That's why.
And that's why.
Because I had a stronger relationship with my mother.
Yeah.
So there you go.
So, I mean, that could be a big part of it.
I think it is.
The people in my life who were strong and there for me and didn't hate me and try to kill me were men.
Okay.
So, I just tend to, and I get this from a lot of people. A lot of people will say, Cheri, you're like the little brother I never had.
Yeah.
And it's kind of true. Because like you just said, I could be a dude. I am.
The relationship, yeah. But I know what they're saying, yeah.
Yeah. I have male energy. I have a 12-year-old boy that lives in my head. You know, I have that sense of humor. I have that ability. When I was younger, I was rough and tumble. I would go chill out with the boys. We'd throw each other in the creek. You know, just all these things.
You're not a Barbie.
I'm not a princess.
But, you know, I've been in so many relationships in my life, and I don't think I've ever been with a Barbie. So, I mean, I think there's a certain type of man that likes that kind of all-girl Barbie.
All princess all the time.
But I feel like the majority of the men like a woman that can just be, and I don't mean it as a gender thing, but just a dude. Just hang out and not have to be a Barbie or a princess or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
I do, because
I'm trying to transcend gender here.
I know you are. I know you are. I've been around friends, women, and mind you, men who are absolute princesses, and I cannot handle it. I cannot do it.
Right.
When I had a girlfriend come over to the house one time, and she sat there, and every other word that came out of her mouth was. I was like, okay, you gotta go.
Yeah.
I can't handle this right now. This is just too. I'm done.
Just another word to say, look at me.
Yeah. So sorry. Bye. So, anyways, where I was going with this is the other night I hit up my friends and I said, "Do you want to, have drinks on the porch?"
Yeah.
And they're like, "Sure." And then I went over, and it turns out that she was all wrapped up in doing some planning for a vacation that was coming up, and she didn't really want to sit on the porch, so she just stayed inside. She was in bed, laying on our computer, playing whatever, looking up stuff. So he and I sat out on the porch and had some drinks. Now, we were having a good conversation like he and I tend to do, but I've always wondered, like, is it weird to the female who I love just as much as I love him, in any relationship of where I'm friends with a couple, does she think, since I'm quote unquote female, that I'm after him?
Oh, I don't know. I think you're being a little neurotic there.
I think I might be too.
Yeah.
So I try and push that away, and I try and just be me.
You can't be responsible for that because ultimately that would be her freakiness. And,
Her fear.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's her mental things, and
Right.
and it's totally independent of you.
Right.
Unless you've tried feeling him up before.
Well, not
And then,
physically, no.
Yeah, but I'm just saying at that point, then she would have some kind of a record
Right.
or a history
Right.
to kind of go on and go,
Right.
well, you've done this 5 times, so I'm not leaving you on the porch again.
Right.
But if there's no reason for it, I
Right.
think that.
But I do tend to worry. It is neurotic. It is my own thing. I'm like, am I being...
Well, you're doing what I was saying that I did with my wife, just saying, I would always say, I'm going out and doing this because
Right.
you want to be sure,
Yes.
but you're doing the exact opposite. You want to ensure, assure her
Yes.
that nothing's going to happen.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening in my mind.
Yeah.
So we're sitting there and we're having kind of an intense conversation because he can be kind of intense. I can be a little bit intense.
Mm-hmm.
We're having a few drinks and we're talking about things. And he was telling me about a situation in their relationship. And I asked him straight up. It just came out because I was curious because we're chatting. And I said, well, how does that affect your sex life?
Yeah.
And his immediate answer was, well, whoa.
Oh.
And I was like, I'm shit. Sorry. Didn't mean to, sorry. And I mean, he continued the conversation a little bit and then we changed it. He answered my question.
Sure.
Because I think he could see I was just being curious. I wasn't like, how's your sex life?
Right,
I
right.
look in your window. I mean, it
Right.
wasn't anything like that.
You weren't trying to get lewd information.
No, not at all. I didn't know that. No. And I think he realized that. And so he just kind of answered the question, but he still felt very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So we moved on to another conversation and that was fine. And then we continued our visit and then I left. But I've kind of thought about that. I'm like, wow, is that a strange question to ask when you're asking? I mean, is that too much? Am I prying on
to
someone's
me,
personal
no.
life?
But again, one person. How many people are in this world? 13 billion.
Something like that.
One person in 13 billion. You can't judge their reaction as that's normal because that's how they reacted. That's just how they reacted to your question. It wouldn't have bothered me a bit if you had asked me that. And there's so many other people it wouldn't. There are some people it would have offended so much they would never speak to you again.
I know.
There's a very broad range of reactions from that, and you can't be responsible for any of them. You weren't being in any way
lewd at all.
right. You weren't joking about it.
No.
You weren't trying to get any. You were just trying to be helpful. Now, he doesn't know that, but that's what we are. We're all just humans trying to communicate and trying to figure out the communication from each people without reading our own crap into it, and it's hard to do.
It's really hard to do.
But I would just say, to me, especially, I would ask that to a stranger. That's the kind of person
like
I
if you're
am.
telling me something that I think, in my experience, that would really affect my sex life,
We're
and I
grown-ups.
ask you, does that affect your sex life?
We're grown-ups. We have a sex life. We have a restaurant life.
We have a love life. We have a bathroom life.
We have an internet life.
We have all these lives.
If you say, well, how does that affect your movie watching time?
Right.
No one gets offended by that.
True.
So what about sex? Who cares?
Yeah.
You have.
That's part of it, and that's
you're
what
just
I explained to him.
I assume you do have sex, correct? Because you're married.
Right. And
It's
I
like,
kind of.
what? You're saying I have sex?
Oh
My
dear.
God.
Yes. No, I mean that's not. He didn't really react like that. It
Well, he
was
probably just didn't expect you to say that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was just a little whoa.
Like, oh yeah, I forgot who I'm talking to.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So and then I kind of went into it. I was like, I just mean, that considering the situation, I'm not asking for details here. I'm just saying,
Well, I know you, and you're the kind of
cause a
person
problem.
who would ask for details. I'm just. He's lucky he didn't get that.
Be like, so
Yeah.
here's my creepy voice.
Right. No, I think it's fine. I would just say, don't worry about it. I mean, if it's a good friend and you really pissed him off, then
That would be
there's
bad, but
something
I
to be
don't-
neurotic about and to try to fix it.
I don't think I did.
But I don't think he probably saw it as that.
Nah, I don't think I did. But yeah, so that's where my mind is right now. Because all I'm doing, other than the things I just talked about, is work.
Okay.
I am so busy with work. All I can do is play with my kitty. And
Hey, wait a minute. We weren't going to be talking about that.
My actual kitty. And go to sleep when I get home. That is literally it.
Well, that's not a bad life to have.
But it's all work.
Sure. I'm okay with it.
I'm not.
We're running out of time. I wanted to talk about something real quick. I think we have a little bit of time to do it.
I'm sorry. Did I go on and on?
No, it's an interesting
okay.
subject.
All right.
I'm trying to decide if I want to save this for another.
Entirely up to you. You do have some
we have
stories.
we have some other things we could talk about.
Yeah. There was something I wanted to discuss this week that I'm going to hold off till next week because I guess
2 shows. You know, we were talking about doing a live show, and I do feel like that maybe we should consider doing a live show if people want to do it. There would be 4th of July,
yes,
which we call 4th of July. You can join us if you would like to, but you don't have to. And even if you don't want to, there'll be video of it.
There will be video of it. I think we should do it. I think it would be so much fun. I'll just, 4th of July normally has snacks and beverages and things, so I'll just have to bring my own because I don't expect your wife to make me anything special.
Who knows what we'll be doing. And there's a possibility that I'll be on the road. If that happens, we can't do it.
That's true.
But I think I'm going to be
So
here.
it's still up in the air, folks. You might get to see it, you might not.
All right. I got a couple things I want to talk about. This is something you probably saw this week, and I think it's very interesting, that parents sued a 30-year-old son because he refused to move out of their house.
That has been everywhere. Everyone has seen it. It's on MSN's Facebook page.
Yes.
It's everywhere.
So,
and there are updates daily.
But, I saw that, and I was just like, oh, that's kind of weird, because so many 30-year-olds live with their parents nowadays. I don't know. What do you think? Should they?
I don't think a 30-year-old should live with their parents.
I mean, if they want to, if the arrangement works. But apparently, they've been trying to get this person to move out. And here's what I didn't know. So they say he does no chores. He doesn't help out around the house.
Right.
And he doesn't pay rent.
And those are huge problems. If he was
Especially
there
at 30.
If he was there caring for his parents,
Yes.
or if he was there helping with financials, if whatever, then that would be completely different. But this guy, he was living with his parents, doing nothing.
Exactly. And so they're paying utilities and food and everything else, I'm assuming. And he's contributing nothing. So they asked him to do that. He said he laughed it off. I'm not going to contribute. So then they sent him a formal thing saying that he was going to be ejected.
Ejected would be fun. If you could kick somebody out of your house by making them injector seat.
Push a button, kind of like Austin Powers.
Yes.
And they said, like, within 30 days, unless you start paying or whatever. And they said he ignored it, just laughed it off. So after the 30 days, they sent him a formal letter, told him to get lost, and they had 30 days or they would go to court.
Right.
He just ignored it.
Yep.
So he had all of these signs, and he sounds like the dude might be a little bit of a jerk. So I think they have grounds. I think I would want him out of my house as well. So now he went to court, and the judge said, "Get the hell out."
Yeah.
Just tossed him out.
GTFO.
Yeah, and because the judge could have said, you could stay there if you'll pay.
Right.
But the judge was just like, "Gone.
No,
you're out.
You're done. You're out."
Got rid of him. And so now he's saying he's really mad, and he's going to appeal.
Well,
Why would you want to stay somewhere you're not wanted?
I believe the last I heard, I believe he did appeal. I believe the last I heard was that he asked the presiding judge for a period of time of, I believe, 60 days to get his things together to get out.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure where that ended because I don't care. However, he went on some story, which may or may not be true. I don't know the guy. I don't know the parents, whatever. But his story was that he was trying to get his son back. And by trying
that wasn't even in the story I read.
By trying to get his son back, he was staying there rent-free so he could save money to pay for a lawyer. But he had been living there since his relationship ended almost 10 years prior.
Yeah.
So if you had no forward movement on trying to get your son back in 10 years, how hard were you really trying?
Get an apartment first, then try to get your son back.
And who's going to give your son back to a man who doesn't support himself,
right?
Who can't support his kid,
living with his parents, and he has no job. Apparently,
you have to prove that you are a responsible person and responsible enough to not only care for yourself, but for your child. So by the time he is, in my opinion, I don't know the guy, like I said, and this is probably going to sound horrible and he might come and murder me. But by the time you prove that you can take care of your child will be 18 and sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Out on his own.
I think it probably went the best way. Okay, so I got another story here. Now, this I got to have your opinion on.
Oh, good. I like
this
to get
is one of
opinions.
those stories that kind of pisses me off.
Okay.
And for reasons I'll tell you as we go along. All right, so the 3-year-old kid. This 3-year-old kid comes from a family that live in Israel. Mm-hmm. He speaks Arabic. The family does.
Okay.
Anyway, so this 3-year-old kid has suddenly started speaking English with a British accent, and they say he's never been exposed to the foreign language.
Okay.
They say he can barely speak Arabic. He speaks what I guess doctors or whatever are saying, that he speaks English at the same level as a 3-year-old English kid. Mm-hmm. And he speaks Arabic less than that. Mm-hmm. Okay. So his parents say he's not exposed. He doesn't watch TV. He's not exposed to English. He doesn't read, doesn't have English-speaking friends. And they don't know why he does this.
Okay. I will tell you that I am familiar with the foreign accent syndrome.
This is not foreign accent. He's speaking English.
Yes. But he's using a British accent.
It doesn't matter.
That is a brain injury.
Oh, it's called zing. The accent thing was right here.
It usually results from a stroke, but can also develop from head trauma, migraines, or developmental problems, which makes sense in a 3-year-old.
But I'm going to say what you're talking about is xenoglossy. And that is a mysterious phenomenon where a person is able to speak a language that they could not have acquired through natural means. But the British accent, anyway, is one thing, which I've heard that so many times, not just British, but other countries as well. Mm-hmm. This is, and I guess this is the definition of xenoglossy. He's never been, they say, he's never been exposed to the English language. He comes from Arabic-speaking people. They don't speak English. He's just automatically started speaking English language.
Really?
That's what they're saying. So, okay, here's what I compare this to.
Okay. Because
I grew up in a fairly religious environment.
True.
And I was Baptist. Baptists don't speak in tongues.
Right.
But I kind of raised around people who did that. And as I got older, I got a little bit of interest in that. And I would kind of explore it a little bit. I never did it, but just it was fascinating to me. But apparently, what I have heard, I've never seen it actually happen, but they will say that people who have never spoken a word of Korean, for instance, when they get touched with the Holy Spirit, will start speaking in fluid, perfect Korean. I will have to tell you that I'm calling bullshit. I don't believe that. I've never believed that. I think it's completely impossible. Don't think it can happen. I think someone who might have been Korean when they were a newborn, and maybe they were adopted at 4 years old or 5 years old, and then was trained to be English and forgot Korean, and they don't remember one, because I have friends like that. Like, I don't remember a word of Korean. Like my wife, I think, grew up speaking Spanish.
Right.
English is not her native language. Now she's perfectly native. She can speak some English, but I mean some Spanish. but that kind of situation to where it's like repressed, it's like way back, and then they just start speaking fluid, like it comes out in a moment of exalted emotion or something.
Sure.
Just feeling high.
Some sort of brain activity that is not normal.
I feel like it's to me, I don't think that it's possible. I don't know Taiwanese, and it would be, there's no circumstance when I could just start speaking Taiwanese if I've never been exposed to it. It can't happen.
I agree.
If this kid watched some MTV on the weekends that maybe his parents didn't know about,
right,
or maybe they knew about and they don't think about it or whatever, because kids are like sponges, and he's soaking in words, and then all of a sudden he could speak these words, and they're like, where is he getting that? Because I did that. I taught myself Spanish when I was a kid. I just picked up a Spanish book and started doing it. So, I mean, the kid's first name is O'Neal. Where does that come from?
Yeah.
Shaquille O'Neal. You can't tell me they don't
watch
English
speaking
stuff.
television.
They obviously watch basketball. They named their kid after Shaq.
Right.
So something's going on there, but everybody's like, "What is happening? It's a mystery. It's a miracle." And it's like, no. I guarantee you, if you look behind the curtains of the miracle, there's a reason how this kid comes up with those words.
And in my opinion, more often than not, if you look behind the curtain of the miracle.
And they just left it out like no one knows.
No one knows.
What's going on. And that kind of pissed me off because I was like, come on. I don't like that. I mean, when people try to force a miracle, it's like, really? You need it that bad? No.
Yeah.
And
How about we talk about the actual miracle of nature, the actual miracle of the world, and the miracle of a human being?
But even that's not a miracle. That's just miracle.
That's
means
science.
It's real.
Yes.
It's miraculous in that it's.
That's what I meant.
We wouldn't even say the word miraculous, but I actually have a book. Where's that book? I've got a book somewhere. But it's not supernatural. It's natural, but it's
natural.
Amazing.
Yes.
It's just awesome.
Absolutely.
But it's not miraculous because it happens all the time.
Right.
I mean, the fact that the Earth is suspended and goes around the sun.
That's not a miracle.
But it's miraculous.
Yes.
But still, it's not really. It's just natural science. It happens.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're that kind of, we're the types of beings. Man, I want to do this story, but it's too late.
Okay.
We're the type of beings that we will see something amazing and we will just automatically attribute it to some kind of mysterious, miraculous
supernatural
thing.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's just like, no, that happens. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
So
people are born with tails.
All right, we're going to close it down. Do we need to do anything? What do we usually do when we're closing it down?
We talk about beer.
We talk about
about where people can join us. We talk about our summer playlist.
We should talk about the summer playlist real quick because it's winding down.
Yeah.
We're still taking submissions. We're not giving submissions.
Correct.
We've done enough.
And we don't have any this week?
We haven't had any in the last 2 weeks. I think people are bored with it.
Okay.
But if you do have some that you would like to submit, please do because it winds up on the 20th, I think, in a couple of weeks. And we need everybody to go vote. Go on to the website, thisepicdisaster.com. Look at the summer 2018 playlist. Find the songs that you like. Just cast a vote. You can vote 20 times. So you can vote for 20 different songs. But if you see a song if you see a bunch of them that just say one vote, that's what I'm afraid of is we're going to have like a tie for like 50 songs just have one vote.
And then it's just us picking songs.
Yeah, everybody voted for their favorite. So we need people to vote for these songs, and it's free to vote. We don't collect your address or anything like that. Just go there and vote. We'll never even know that you do it.
Did you know that our website is kind of jacked right now?
I posted something on line about that.
Okay.
I'm switching hosting companies, but I went through with that company right there about that very issue, and they said that it was going to be repaired.
Well, you can still get there. Okay, if you go to thisepicdisaster.com, you will get a notification that this site is not secure, blah, blah, blah. Just continue through. You will be able to get there eventually. Yeah. It can be frightening.
They say 24 to 48 hours, and I had it fixed yesterday, so it's insane. This hosting company, I'm taking all of my stuff away from them.
Right.
They shouldn't be playing with website.
If you go to our website, over to the right, you will see polls. And that poll is what songs should be on our 2018 summer playlist. And there are little check boxes next to each song. Please, by all means, check them.
Yeah, your favorite ones.
And then hit vote at the bottom of the list.
And then we'll make a playlist. And then I think, what I'm thinking we're doing, because the 20th is the deadline, see what you think about this. What if we make the announcement of the playlist on their live show? That would be kind of cool, wouldn't it?
That would be fun.
So we might do that. We'll think about that. If we don't, we'll announce it earlier, but hopefully we will. But anyway, you can go to the website and see a lot of stuff. At some point, I'm moving this stupid website because of the hosting company, but right now you can go there. If you're having problems with it, I apologize, but we will be moving it. But thisepicdisaster.com. It's one of the reasons why I don't put a lot of stuff on the website, because they make it difficult to access.
This is true. And I'm not a fan of this hosting company.
It's freaking GoDaddy. GoDaddy.com. I've been a customer with them for so long, and I'm so mad. They don't know how to host websites. That's my opinion. That's my experience. I'm moving it. Because here's what I did. I already moved one of my websites. Perfect. I don't have a single problem.
Could this
I will
just
tell you what their problem is.
Could this just be a DNS entry or something?
No, I'll tell you what it is later.
right.
But anyway, I'm going to write a big story about it and put it on my blog.
Okay.
Because it's a ripoff what they're doing.
Agreed.
I'm telling you, it's a ripoff.
Yeah.
That's my experience. But anyway, so don't worry about it. You can still access. You can send us email at thisepicdisaster@gmail.com, and you can do that. You can either send your music playlist submissions if you want, or just comment on something we've said on the show. Tell us your experiences. Someone sent us an email this week, and I forgot to bring it in and read it, but I will on the next one.
I asked you if you had anything.
I just thought about it. I'm trying to remember if it was just a comment on something we said, or you know how my mind is.
It's not good.
But I'll probably try to bring that next week. But you can do that if you want to get on the show. If you want to send us any suggestions, beer suggestions.
Sure.
Interview suggestions are kind of cool.
Absolutely.
Topical suggestions. We did some topical suggestions.
We might still have a couple left, but we would love some more.
Yeah.
Also, you can reach us. We do have a Facebook page, as you've mentioned. That is facebook.com/life. /this
You're gonna
epic
do that
disaster.
for quite a while.
I'm going to do that for a while. That's our old podcast. But we are at facebook.com/this epic disaster. And we're on Instagram and Twitter and pretty much anywhere the internets take you.
That's exactly right.
So come say hi.
Yeah. And here, every Monday, we do a show. And to reward you for listening to the show, we ask you to do one thing. If you listen to the show, let's say you download the show from iTunes.
Okay.
Because there's like several places you could do it. But if iTunes is where you download it and you like the show, go back to iTunes and leave a review.
Or a rating.
Just click how many stars that you think. If you think it's a 3-star show, fine. A 4, 5.
Sure.
If it's a 1-star,
Don't
if you
do
think
it.
it's 1 star,
Don't do it.
go to hell.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Really?
No.
Just turn it
Whatever
off.
you think, rate the show. You can even leave a little blurb because it gets you famous. Your name is there forever.
Nice. Yeah.
You'll be famous. And it helps us out a whole lot. It helps us out in the way iTunes ranks the podcast. But you can do it also on Google or any place else. And please do so. And in return, we have a gift for you. It's a free gift.
It's totally free.
It's a free gift right now. We're going to have other free gifts later, but right now the free gift is a free sticker. And in fact, I'll probably put more than one sticker in there.
Really?
You might get 2, you might get 3. It just depends on how I'm feeling that day.
Okay. Normally you're pretty generous.
Yeah. All you got to do, and you don't even have to do the review. I'm not going to check. Just send us through email your mailing address.
Yeah.
So that we can pop
Snail
some
mail.
stickers in an envelope and send them to you, and we'll do that for free.
Sure.
Yep. Just send it to our Gmail address, or you can do it through Facebook or whatever you want to do.
Or send us, here's a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
Send us somebody else's random mailing address. And we will just put stickers in an envelope and send them.
Well, see, I always encourage that. Like, I send like 2 or 3 stickers, and I always like one sticker, just go put it on somebody's car. But we might get in trouble to do that.
Don't recommend that.
Hey, I thought of a great joke.
What?
I can tell it because it's really quick. A great practical joke. So you go to the store and this is illegal. So don't really do this.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying it would be a great practical joke.
Okay.
So like go to the store and buy eggs.
All right.
I'll take them home. Get 1 egg and hard boil it. Make sure it's good and hard boiled. And then take it, put it in the refrigerator, let it get cold. Then stick it in your pocket and go to the grocery store. And when you go to the grocery store, go through all the eggs, find it, because there's always one that has like 1 egg that's busted in it.
Right.
So you go there, take that busted egg out, and put your hard boiled egg in place.
What do you do with the old busted egg?
You could just lay it on the shelf somewhere, throw it in the garbage, whatever. It's busted. Who wants it? No one
You don't
wants
want to carry it in your hand, though.
it.
Gross.
Just kind of hide it, just like you were doing the other egg. So here's what's going to happen now. People are going to buy that. They're going to take the eggs home. They're going to be like, oh, I'm going to make fried egg. And they're going to crack it open, and it's already boiled. And they're going to be like, what the hell? The chicken laid a boiled egg? What is going on here? Or... Now, if they boil the egg,
get to enjoy that joke.
No. But if they boil the eggs, they're never going to know because all the eggs will be boiled.
They're going to completely overboil that egg.
No, they just won't know. So, but if they're going to scramble it or fry it, the idea of somebody thinking they're going to scramble an egg and they like wait, it's already boiled. And they're like, how did this get boiled?
Okay, so here is my devil's
Don't
advocate
really do that because
side.
that's illegal, but I think
it
it'd
is
be
illegal.
funny.
But here's my devil's advocate
I think
side.
it'd be really funny.
All right, so if
maybe do it.
you are in the middle of baking an extremely important cake that you have to have done in 1 hour's time, no less,
Right.
that is time crunch right there, baking a cake, right? You only have 3 eggs left, and that's how many eggs it takes to bake this cake.
Yep.
And you crack the first 2, and you're like, I'm going to have this done, and you crack that third one, and it's boiled.
That'd be awesome.
Some kid,
Awesome.
his birthday is going to be completely ruined because you wanted to play a joke on a random stranger.
It's worth it. It's so awesome. I just think that the look on the person's face when they think they're getting a raw egg and it's actually cooked, just the thoughts that go through your head at that point, like, what happened? Who did someone use these eggs before?
Do I
What
have
you
time
doing?
for dad jokes?
You could do 1 or 2.
All right, I have 1 or 2 dad jokes for you.
This might be a good time to go ahead and quit the podcast, but I'm not.
Hey, what do you call an alligator with a GPS?
Scholar Gator.
A navigator.
Wait a minute. A GPS.
Thank you.
I thought you were like an MA or an MS. Like
No.
a degree.
Okay, so 2 more. A magician.
Uh-huh.
Nope, sorry. This is going to be offensive.
blew it? Did you
This
blow
is
it?
going to be offensive.
Oh, don't do an offensive one. We don't want to offend people out there.
A Mexican magician tells his audience he will disappear on the count of 3.
Uh-huh.
1, 2, then poof, he disappears
Mm-hmm.
without a trace.
That's really bad.
It's really good. Okay, here's a better one. A guy is taking his girlfriend to prom. He waits in the ticket line for a really long time, but gets them. He goes to rent a limo. The rental line is really long, but he eventually does it. He goes to buy her flowers. The line at the florist is really long, but eventually he gets the flowers. At prom, she asks him to go get punch. He goes to the refreshment table, and there's no punchline.
Okay, what did you think of that beer?
That joke. I love it. Sorry, everybody. Sorry.
All right. So we should talk about this beer really quick.
I liked it.
I did too.
It's yummy. It's your coffee word.
Yeah.
Was very good, but there's something other than coffee that I taste. It's something a little lighter, a little sweeter. Not like overly sweet because I don't like overly sweet.
I don't think it was that sweet to me, but
No, but
there's
there's-
definitely some sweetness to it, as a porter would be.
Yeah. There's something in there that's not
Caramel or chocolate.
Yeah,
or something.
the caramel. I think it's almost a caramel coffee,
Yep.
if you will. That's
Yeah.
what I tasted.
And one of the things I like about it, because I'm always griping about this, but it's like beer. Too many beers lose their carbonation too quick.
Porters and stouts, especially.
This one, I mean, like right now, what I'm drinking, and I'm almost done with it, but it has almost no carbonation. But it hung on to it for longer than normal.
Right.
So I liked that about it. But yeah, I would drink, and I was going to say I'll drink more of this beer, but I got a whole bunch more of it downstairs.
So you
it's-
get to drink more of this beer.
do get to drink.
Unfortunately, I don't get to
You can
drink
take
more
a
of this
can
beer.
home if you want, but you can't do it because it's not on your.
I would drink
Diet.
it in bits.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't have bits. I do, but I'm not showing them to you.
I've seen them. Okay. So I'm going to give it a 3.
Okay. I'm struggling on whether I want to give it a 3.5 or 4.
Okay.
I don't know, and I don't like the quarters. I don't want to go up to 3.75.
All right, then don't. Just give
So
it
I
what
just
you
don't know,
want.
but I really feel like I like it a lot. I think that it fits good in a 3.5, 3.5.
Do it.
I'm doing it.
All right.
Going on the 3. You know, I would love to taste, and I'll bet they have one. If they have like a bourbon beer barrel type of beer, I bet it's awesome.
You know, I was just on their website,
Uh-huh.
so I'm going to go right the hell back to it, and I'm going to tell you what they have.
While you're looking it up, I'm going to say, because I had a topic for this week that I didn't get to.
I'm sorry.
Because it's extensive. No, I think we did a good show. But, and I know what this is going to sound like, but it kind of goes along with what we were talking about. But it's going to sound so stupid, but it was a good topic, and it's good. And we're going to do it next week. We're going to talk all about boobs.
Nice. I like boobs.
In a good way. I found out some things I didn't know, not necessarily about boobs, but kind of about boobs. But just, I was thinking about some stuff, and there's just no way to say this and it sound great. So anyway, join us next week.
Absolutely.
And we will talk about boobs.
Boobies.
It'll be our boob episode. And we might, I don't know if we will, we might both show you our boobs. I think we should maybe we should post photos of our boobs.
All right.
That was so much easier than I should have known. Anyway, so that'll happen next week.
Okay.
The Boob Show.
Until then, thank you so much for listening. We'll
Join us on the Boob Show.
Yes.
Next week. And we hope you have a good week.
Until the Boob Show.
And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.